In today's fast-paced world, productivity is all the rage. We all want to be productive. Productive spouses, productive employees, productive employers, productive parents. Everyone wants to be a productive person. And there's always someone somewhere giving you one new tip, 2 new tricks, 3 new hacks to being a productive person. I'm not going to be doing that today. I did that in my last video. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how to balance productivity, what to do when you have various stakeholders and they all seem to be pulling you in different directions. And it seems like your goal is in focus, but you really cannot get to it. In today's video, I want to teach you the right perspective about productivity, how to really work under pressure, how to stick to a schedule, and how to manage stakeholders. Hello, my name is Bisola Badijo, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my video podcast series, and if you're new here, I want you to subscribe now. Click the subscribe button. Why? Because you see, I'm not just any productivity coach. My aim is to be your best life coach, and I plan to give you value across a range of subjects, things that you do not want to miss. So subscribe now. Do it now. Do it now. Subscribe now. So what's first? What's productivity, really? Why does everyone want to be productive? You see, most of the time, the reason why we are chasing the productivity wagon is because we want to be successful. We all want to make money. We all think that the life we have is not worth living. We are chasing the next achievement, the next high. And while these are not necessarily bad things, it is not healthy to live life always chasing the next achievement. I'm a Christian, and as a believer, contentment is what Jesus preached. You should be content in whatever situation that you are in. In fact, my best definition of excellence is doing the best you can do with whatever available resources are present to you at that given time. It doesn't necessarily mean that you will not aspire to greater, but you will do the best you can do with the available resources and be proud of yourself for that effort. So you must approach productivity from this mindset that is not about the next high. It is not about comparing yourself, unhealthy competition with the next person. It's about being satisfied with doing your best if you really are doing your best. It's about being satisfied first with doing your best before you aspire to be greater. I think if many of us go into productivity with this mindset, we will reduce the pressure that we put on ourselves. We'll reduce the amount of things that we are chasing. We would have the proper balance and the proper perspective to life. We won't have so many people productive in their career, but they have abandoned their family and their friends. We won't have many people chasing personal development, but have abandon spiritual responsibilities. Productivity to me, and I believe it should be the same for you too, is about balance. Is about having your priorities in order, doing the right thing at the right time, knowing that everyone in your life is important. Work is not all that matters. People matter more. So that's my first point. Have this perspective to productivity. The perspective that you should be content, do your best in the situation that you are in. Do that first before you aspire to greatness. So my number 2 point today is how to really work under pressure. The average CV of any school leaving graduate has the line ability to work under pressure. You probably are lying because many of us actually do not know how to manage pressure. I'll give an example of myself. I started my career in one of the largest power distribution companies in Nigeria. And I was an achiever. I am still an achiever. I'm a typical type A personality. So I want to be good in everything that I do. And so, when it was discovered that this was the kind of person that I was, people began to give me responsibilities. My bosses were giving me responsibilities that were beyond my pay grades. They were asking me for answers that my superiors should be producing. So if I'm in a team of 4 people and 3 of them are not doing the work properly, I tend to take on their work. And people were looking up to me to give answers. At the end of the day, I found out that I was seeing transformers in my dream. I was waking up and crying. I was thinking about work every waking moment. Every waking moment. I don't know if any of you have ever been in such a situation where it seems like all your life revolves around is your 9 to 5. But something changed my life. I listened to a message by my pastor, and he was talking about gratitude, about thankfulness, about how we make the things that God has given us the focus, to the extent that we have made them such an idol, we are no longer thankful for them. God gave me that job. I had made it an idol. I was no longer thankful for it. I had allowed the pressure that everyone was putting on me to affect my perspective. That was a point in my life when I was almost depressed. So what did I do? I sat and I took stock. I listed all the responsibilities that I had, and I dropped the ones that were not my concern. I did not have to be the best in everything. I could only do what I could do. If I took on more than I could do, I was killing myself little by little. So I did not allow anyone else put pressure on me. I was the only one who could put pressure on myself. That is how I work under pressure. In physics, every material has an elastic limit. You stretch, and the material can always return back to its original tensile strength. But one day, you will stretch it out of its tensile strength that it cannot come back again. Do not allow that to happen to you. Know the limit of pressure you can put on yourself. Let me repeat that again. Know the limit of pressure that you can put on yourself. So how do you really work under pressure? Know when to say no. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. I can't handle this right now. Can I do it later? It's okay to say no. Second, do not overestimate the amount of time that you need to work on a project. Many of us think we are superhuman, and you give 5 minutes to a job that should take 30 minutes. And at the end of the day, you are double booked and overbooked, and you don't deliver. Know this, you must always under-promise and over-deliver. And you must know how to communicate this effectively. Tell people, right now I have a lot on my plate, but I will see what I can do about what you're asking me to. When do you need it? When do you need it? Okay, do you need it at this time? Okay, can we have it at this time? Include negotiation when you are taking on responsibilities. This will help you actually work under pressure. People will respect you even more because you will beat that person that delivers when they say they are going to deliver. This is how to work under pressure. Now, before I go to the third point, I have exciting news for you. There is an app I'm going to be introducing to you, and if you download the app with my referral code, you stand a chance to win 10,000 naira. Microvest is an app, a finance app where you earn as you save. So how do you win this 10,000 naira? Get your phone. Download the app Microvest, then create a My Lock plan and put a minimum of 5,000 naira. Remember to use my referral code IYALOJA, IYALOJA, IYALOJA. Just do this and you can win 10,000 naira. The winners will be announced on the live show after this episode. Download Microvest app now. This is the average day of the average young person in Nigeria. This is how it goes. You begin your day. You set out a to-do list. Maybe you have even watched my last video and you've written out your priorities. You've created a calendar and you've reviewed your morning that day and written down your to-do list. And then you get to the office and your boss calls you. I want you to have this presentation ready for me in 2 minutes. And then your mom calls you. Bisola, I need you to take me to the airport by 2 p.m. And then your sister calls you. Bisola, I have an emergency. Can you help me pick up my daughter from school? And then before you know it, things are disrupting your schedule. A lot of people ask this question after the last video. What do I do when I have set a schedule and then different things come up? They keep coming up, distracting me from sticking to the schedule. This is my third point. How do you stick to a schedule? First of all, when you create your schedule, stay flexible. Be flexible. Ensure that your schedule is flexible. Don't overpack your day. Don't overestimate what you can achieve in a day. You don't have more than 12 to 16 hours averagely to actually get something done. And that's an overestimation. Averagely, the normal human being actually uses 8 hours to work. So why are you packing activities meant for 2 days into 1 day? Stay flexible. Have space in your schedule. Factor your boss's requests. Factor your family's request. Know that anything can happen to disrupt your schedule. Number 2, if your schedule is disrupted, it doesn't mean the world is ended. If you do not tick everything on your to-do list in a day, it doesn't make you a failure. Know that. I will say it again. If you do not tick everything on your to-do list in a day, it doesn't make you a failure. It doesn't mean you've done nothing. Do you know what I do? When things come into my schedule, I write them down and I tick them just to make myself happy, because I get the feeling. We all like that dopamine rush. You don't like to look at your to-do list at the end of the day and see that you did nothing, but you know you did a lot of things that day. So first and foremost, write the new things down and tick them off. No, and then like I said, it's okay not to finish everything in 1 day. Tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is actually another day. The sun will still come out tomorrow. It will actually come out tomorrow. The world does not end today. You are not a failure if you do not finish everything on your to-do list. So number 3 point under how to stick to a schedule is practice prioritized procrastination. I'll take it again. Practice prioritized procrastination. Procrastination is not always a bad thing if you plan it. If you plan to procrastinate, and if you prioritize what you are procrastinating. So, if there are a lot of things on your list and more things are coming up, and it seems those things coming up are more important than the things you have on the list, procrastinate the ones that are not so important and prioritize the ones that are important. It's quite simple. Let me take it again. You have taken a to-do list and there are things on your list already, but things come in and those things seem more important than the ones already on your list. Sometimes you look at your list and you know that some things are important, some things are not so important. Do this. Procrastinate the ones that are not so important and prioritize the important ones. You know who and what is important to you. Use that to practice prioritized procrastination. The number 4 point in how to stick to a schedule is to consider your energy levels. When are you most productive? Some people are more productive in the morning, some are more in the evening. The only way you can know is with practice. When are you most productive? When do you get more things done. Use that to plan your schedule. Put the activities that require more concentration and more effort during your high productivity and energy times, and mass produce, focus, do deep work in those periods, and then put the activities that do not need so much concentration during your low productivity times. That's simply it. Analyze your productivity levels, your energy levels, and use it to plan your schedule. For me, I'm more effective in the mornings. From the period of 10 to 2 p.m., I do my best work. And so I schedule emails, work goals, personal development goals between those periods. And then I schedule reading, watching videos to learn between the periods of 6 to 8 p.m. See, analyze your energy levels. Know when you are productive. Know when you are most productive and use it to plan your schedule. Now, the last point for how to stick to a schedule is a lesson from project management. It's a lesson from project management. It is practicing the agile methodology. It sounds like a big word, but it really isn't. Agile methodology actually is a method in project management. And what it involves is this. You break a project. It's usually used for software development. And you break the software development into work phases, little work phases. And then you frequently reassess these work phases at the end of every work phase. And then you adapt your plans. Do you understand? So you break a project into different work phases. So if you have a project and it has 5 work phases, the first work phase, you finish it. When that first work phase is done, you come back, you reassess it, and then you adapt your plans before you go to the second phase. I think their work phases are usually called sprints. I don't want to be wrong because my husband is the one that taught me. And if I'm wrong, that's 0/10. But I think it's called a sprint, but you can always check on it. How do you adapt it to your life? If you've watched my last video, I said you should treat your life like a project. I said you should break those projects into milestones, work packages, and deliverables before you now convert them into a to-do list. I then said you should put those to-do lists on a schedule that reminds you when and where to do those activities. But you see, you need to know that your schedule is not set in stone. You can correct it. Break your scheduling into phases: monthly, bi-monthly, every week, every quarter, every 2 months, dependent on your life, and then reassess after each phase. Find out what works and what doesn't. Remove what doesn't work and bring in new things. Your schedule is not set in stone. You created it. You can change it. This is how you apply agile methodology to stick to a schedule. Now, the last thing I'm going to teach you today is how to manage stakeholders. Like I said, most of the time, you have planned a schedule, and it seems like different people are pulling you in different direction, and you can see your focus, but you can't just get there. How do you manage stakeholders? I apply my own version of the stakeholder quadrant. In project management, it's power against interest. For me, it is power against influence. You can research on what the stakeholder quadrant is and apply it as it suits you. So this is how I use it. There's a quadrant for people who are high power and high influence in my life. And in those quadrants, you have my pastor, my boss, my mother, my husband. You have people who are high power and low influence. And in that quadrant, you might have your colleagues. They are high power because they can affect you, but they necessarily may not have influence over your life. Think about other people that you can put in that quadrant. Then you have people who have high influence but low power. Your friends have high influence but low power. They might not necessarily have the power to sack you, but they have high influence in your life. They have a level of interest in your life. You love them. You want them to be happy. The final quadrant are those with low power and low influence. And in this quadrant, you may have acquaintances, people that may not necessarily have so much stake in the activities of your life at that moment. Now, how do you manage all the stakeholders in this quadrant? In the first quadrant, with the high power and high influence individuals, in that quadrant, I put my pastor, my boss, my husband, and my mother. With these people, you have to manage them closely. You have to manage them closely. You have to ensure that you are paying attention to what they need. You put their requests as priority on your list. Even within the people in this quadrant, there are some people that I can let go of their requests in line with another, and situations may change. An example is this: there are situations when I can explain to my mother and she would understand, and there are situations when I can explain to my boss and he will understand. But there are also times when I can explain to my husband that he will understand. But there are times where my husband will not be happy that I picked my mother over him. And there are times when my mother will not be happy that I picked my job over her. So you must understand those dynamics of the people that are in those quadrants and manage them closely. Now, the second quadrant are those with high power but low influence. In this quadrant, I put my colleagues. Your colleagues can make life difficult for you, but not all of them are your friends. In fact, they don't necessarily have to be your friends, and so they may not necessarily have high influence in your life. You may not necessarily feel any soft feelings for them, but you must learn how to work with them. So what do you do here? You must keep them satisfied. What do they want? How can you provide it? If you can't provide it immediately, how can you manage their expectations in a way that they are satisfied? How can you use your people communication skills to ensure that the people in these quadrants know that even though they may not necessarily have a stake in your life, they necessarily do not have to use their power to make your life miserable? This quadrant is basically people management skills. Learn it and use it. Now, for the third quadrant, you have people who have low power and high influence. And in this quadrant, I put my friends. There are other people you might put in that quadrant. What do? You keep these people informed. Your friends, you probably made a plan and then work came in. Keep them informed of what is going on. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is what happened. That's why I was not available for you. Your friend will understand. You can say, I will make it up to you on so dates. Keep them informed. Anyone in this quadrant just wants to be informed. They just want to know they matter to you. Information makes people know they matter to you. When people don't know what is going on in your life, they feel like they don't matter. Anyone in this quadrant just wants to be informed. Now, the final quadrant are those with low power and low influence. All you need to do is monitor them with minimum effort. Your acquaintances. Oh, hi, how are you? Fine. Do you understand? Monitor with minimum effort. They can come last on your priority list. You can check up with them once in a while. You can set alarm every 2 weeks to say, okay, this is when this needs to be done. If they call you, apologize and say, sorry, I'll get it done. But know who you are putting in this quadrant. One more thing I need to let you know. Depending on whatever phase of your life you are in, the people in these quadrants can change. They can move. My mom can be on high power and high influence today, but tomorrow she may be on low power and high influence, depending on what is happening in my life at that time. Also understand it. Understand how to manage situations. But you see, you are not a computer. You will make mistakes, right? There are some times where the ball will drop. you must remember to not be too hard on yourself. Also remember to use your P's and Q's. Say please, say thank you. Be quick to apologize. Be quick to buy gifts for people that need it. Buy gifts for your boss. Buy gifts for your parents. Apologize to your friends if you offend them. Know that you are not a perfect person. Know that you have a learning process. Use your P's and Q's and don't be too hard on yourself. I hope that you've learned a lot from this video. I hope you have a new perspective on productivity and how to stick to a schedule. I hope you really know what it means to actually work under pressure and how to manage stakeholders. The most important thing that you must take today is this: be content with who you are. Recognize where you are. Appreciate that first before you seek to improve. If you do not have something to build upon, then you will not build well. Appreciate where you are. Thank God for that. Be grateful for it. Then seek to improve. Thank you and see you next time. Before I go, I would like to remind you one more time. If you are new here, subscribe to this video. Do it now. Do it now. Subscribe now.